First of all, you're going to have to forgive me because this is going to be a long one. In fact, we're going to have to possibly chop this into two. In fact, we are going to have to chop this into 2 videos because there is just so much. Because here, Gideon, in Chapter 2, The Nature of the Beast, decides he's going to tell you what allopathic medicine is, which is what the MDs practice, and the holistic medicine, which is what him and pretty much any other health practitioner practices. Now, for anyone out there that is actually in the medical field, you will have to 100% forgive me because there is stuff in here I know I will miss. So if you hear me say something that I miss, or you want to talk about it, or say something, hey, you missed talking about this, please by all means go into the comment section and leave a comment about it. Please do, because at the end of the day, I'm not an MD, but so far, again, we're only 2 chapters in this, and so far my bullshit detector has literally just gone off the scale. Again, I must remind everyone, and I am not a medical professional. I have never done any training in the medical profession, but when I hear people like this talk, and it can be a simple 2-minute Google search to show that these people are quacks, particularly this guy, it astounds me that there are people that think this guy is, a genius, and, is parroting some sort of wisdom when he is not. So, anyway, with that little bit over, let's get into Chapter 2, The Nature of the Beast, Part 1, all about allopathy. There are 2 different schools of thought relevant in today's medical arena. 1. Reductionist medicine, what MDs practiced, also known as allopathic medicine. 2. Holistic medicine, what MDs, DCs, acupuncturists, etc. practice. These 2 schools of thought are based on philosophies that are radically different from each other. Well, I'm sorry, but medicine is not based on a philosophy. It is based on science and evidence. And we are going to get into so much stuff later on in this chapter, because it's just, oh my god. Most holistic practitioners will tell you that MDs are pompous, close-minded, symptom-suppressive lapdogs to the pharmaceutical industry who don't know the first thing about health, and whose medicines are just as likely to hurt you as they are to help you. Oh, that's a load of bullshit. First thing, the whole thing about MDs being pompous is, I'm sorry, but when someone comes to you and tries to question your 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 years of plus of education and knowledge of working in this field, and telling you that they are wrong when all they've done is 3 years at a school where they don't even cover half, not even a quarter of the stuff that you've covered in your 10 years worth of learning and training to become an MD, then yes, I'm sorry, but that entitles them to be condescending to you. Does it excuse them to be it? No, because I'm sorry, but if you come and you parrot some of this stuff that this guy is saying to an MD, then you're the idiot in this situation. You are the child talking to an adult that knows fuck all about the medical world. Where were we? Yes. Most MDs will tell you that holistic medical practitioners are quacks, have substandard training, and use therapies that are unproven and dangerous. That is true. You are a quack because, again, you have substandard training. That is 100% proven to be true. Go to the Naturopathic Diaries written by Marie Britt Holmes, where she tells you about all the syllabuses, all her training and how basically her training was just completely inferior. It was nowhere near the level of a standard that an MD's training is. And that is a fact. Go look that up. Use therapies that are unproven and dangerous. Yes, every single treatment this guy recommends is unproven. Dangerous, there's 50-50. There's arguments that can be certainly made that what he's done in certainly the last chapter by trying to scare people away from doctors and convince them that, you know, they should stop taking. This guy's already advocated that in this book already that you should stop taking your MD prescribed medication. So straight away, that is dangerous. And he's again cloaking this in actual medical advice. So let's not underestimate this guy, because again, he is dangerous. And anyone that, you know, advocates this, you know, stuff he's saying in this book is dangerous. Treatments that these people have prescribed, again, might not be dangerous, but if you say, well, instead of doing chemotherapy, which is, you know, proven to be effective, and instead, you know, do something like the Gerson therapy or, you know, nutrition therapy, or, you know, just take this vitamin instead, then yes, that is incredibly dangerous. Where are we? Yeah. So the reality of the situation is that holistic practitioners are right and the MDs are wrong. Again, what evidence do you have? Because already I've been saying this throughout your book. You keep on citing that you are scientifically and clinically proven when you have nothing. You have nothing to prove that that is the case. There are, however, a few things that MDs are good at, and there is room in the world for both of these systems of medicine. So let's break down each into order to better understand what's going on. And this is where you now start to talk about the allopathic medicine. And quite frankly, I'm sorry, but this allopathy is complete bullshit. It's a term used by these quacks who want to try and confuse people. Because I'm sorry, there is no other better way to describe it. And we're going to get into it, and you should basically see by the end of talking about his allopathy, and we're going to stop when he gets to talk about allopathy, because this video is going to be long enough talking about his version of allopathy, and then you get to his homeopathy, which is all, you know, smiles and rainbows. So, the medical philosophies that MDs are trained in is referred to as allopathy, rhymes with shallopathy. Allopathy rhymes with shallopathic. And medicine is is reductionist and oppositionalist, and is definitely in its philosophy and treatment. Its greatest achievements have been in the field of surgery and emergency care, ignoring pretty much everything else it is done for, you know, vaccines, medication. And again, this guy completely omits anything to do with medicine that, you know, this version of medicine has done. So, but anyway, you'll see, and oh boy will you see. It believes that the human body must be controlled and dominated. What? It relies on the use of synthetic drugs and surgery to effect changes in the physiology of the body. Yes, because that's what is going wrong in your body. Your body, before even they are introducing these synthetic drugs into your body, there is something wrong in your physiology that has gone wrong. Maybe, you know, a certain part of your body isn't producing enough, you know, chemicals that it needs, so you need to ingest. Or maybe, you know, there's an entire field called biomedicine, biochemical, biochemistry, which he has specifically dedicated to this study. Now, I am an absolute I'm not even a layman when it comes to this. So again, there are people out there with degrees in biochemistry that can explain why and how this is happening in your body and why this is the case. And then the thing I also want to mention is synthetic drugs. Every synthetic molecule and these things that are in drugs that are synthetic are all naturally occurring. The fact that we can make them synthetically does not make them bad. Because essentially what you are making is the same thing that occurs in nature. And he gets onto this later, that a lot of these drugs, why not take the flower or the plant? Why? It should be obvious, because only 1% of that flower is what you need. The 99% is completely useless to you. It's irrelevant. Not only that, we have ways of taking that 1% and making it even more better and effective at doing what it does, what it would normally do if you were taking it at that 1% level. For example, take malaria and quinine. You used to have to take something called dew bark. Now, the effective ingredient is called quinine. Now, when we found that and we took that part out, malaria medication in its effectiveness has improved leaps and bounds. Just taking dew bark now by itself, it's not even effective as a malaria medication we have today. And that is pretty much the standard for all this synthetic drug treatments we have. But does this guy care? No. Because his entire premise is to scare you away from drugs and MDs so that you'll be convinced that guys like him deserve a seat at the table when they have no place at that table. They have no evidence and no cause to be at that table. They do not deserve a chair. They do not deserve a stool. They do not even deserve to stand at the table. They do not even deserve the corner in the room. They should be nowhere in the room at that table. But this guy is trying to convince you that they should. And the rest of this chapter is literally just MD bashing. Now, I've just gone off on a massive tangent here, so we're going to get back to his book. Where were we? Yes, this is going to set me off again. It does not believe in the existence of a human soul, or, for that matter, anything metaphysical. How the hell does the existence of a human soul meant to help you in your health? How is that meant to help an MD treat your cancer or, something that is, wrong with you, your illness? How does that help them? It doesn't help them at all. That's just woo-woo. And people get on to me calling this guy a quack. I'm sorry, but he is. The very fact that he says that MDs and this version of their medicine, and I'm just going to read it again verbatim. It does not believe in the existence of a human soul, or for that matter, anything metaphysical. Its practitioners are not trained in how to make a sick person healthy. Its treatments are used to manage the disease state, and with the exception of surgery and infectious diseases, they are rarely curative. I'm sorry, but that is the biggest load of BS I have ever heard. At that point, I was pretty much willing to just stop reading, because quite frankly, I don't want to read the rest of his book at this point. I really don't, but I feel as if it's my duty to go through every single chapter and point out all the bullshit this guy says. The term allopathic was coined by a German physician named Samuel Hahnemann in the 19th century. It is sorry, this guy is just getting to me so much. Is derived from the two Greek words allios, meaning opposite, and pathos, meaning disease. Hahnemann was a homeopathic physician, a type of holistic medicine, and he came up with the term to describe and separate himself from members of his profession and MDs at his time that espoused the use of dangerous and harmful medical treatments such as bloodletting and the use of large doses of toxic substances such as mercury. MDs are not happy with the term allopathic and will go out of their way to try and convince you that what they do is practice medicine, which is what they do. Now, back in the 19th century, MDs, as they were known back then, did practice bloodletting and did prescribe, mercury and cocaine. Why? Because we didn't have the medical knowledge we had back then. Right? It's pure and simple. So and he does this throughout this book and chapter, and just saying that, oh, back in the 19th century they did this. It is not representative of what modern medicine is today. So going back and saying about these, 19th century doctors, absolutely 100%. I don't know what even type of argument you would call it, but it's the most ridiculous form of argument ever to say that they were like this back then, so they must be like this now, is completely ridiculous. Again, it ignores all the advancements that have been in medical history completely. So it is a ridiculous argument for this guy to make. That they in fact are the sole proprietors of the entire medical field. Again, trying to convince you that he deserves a seat at the table. But they are not. What they do is just one piece of the medical pie. This medical pie you do not deserve any piece of. Allopathic is an entirely appropriate eponym for what MDs do. Hahnemann should be applauded for his insight. An important aspect of the allopathic medicine is to understand its adherence to a reductionist philosophy. Reductionism takes the view that the human body is a machine made of parts. It argues that when an illness is present, the body must be taken apart to discover its defective piece. I just don't know how to describe that, because later when he describes holism, he describes literally the exact same thing. We'll get to that later when he's talking about it. The reductionist view is exemplified by its diagnosis tools that the MDs use. Blood work, X-rays, MRI scans, CT scans, colonoscopies, liposcopies, all these devices, they are used to take the body apart into smaller pieces in a desperate hunt to find the part of the body machine that is broken. And it's not used to see what is actually going on inside, it's not used to go and find out more about what is going on inside the human body and to, look at what is exactly the problem. These guys, they look at a human body and know instantly what's going on inside it. They have X-ray eyes, apparently. This is why CTs and MRIs are ordered for just about everything now. It is why gene therapy and embryonic stem cell research are all the buzz today, as they represent the ultimate end goal of the reductionist road. With scientific technology allowing physicians to visualize the body at very tiny levels, this machine made of parts viewpoint is also the reason why patients are prescribed so many different medications. And it's not because, you know, different medicines have different things. Again, this guy tries to sell people constantly that he has the magic medical bullet, the one cure-all. But there is no such thing as a medical cure-all. This is why there are multiple medicines for multiple medications, and multiple medications work differently. You know, you can't take a certain type of medicine with other different types of medication. Doctors know this. They spent years doing, you know, research into this. They are studied, you know, study into this. So again, this guy knows nothing about how MDs are trained, and he's just, you know, taking it from his worldview, how he thinks they are trained, and his view to their reductionist parts. This is so bad, it's unbelievable. Where were we? Yeah. So they are. One medicine is given for each part that is broken. So in an MD's office, patients are routinely prescribed one blood pressure medicine, one arthritis medicine, one osteoporosis medicine, one hormone medicine, one sleep medicine, one depression medicine, one heartburn medicine, and one medicine to take care of all the side effects of all those medicines. Sounds familiar? The reason is that so many people are on these medications is not because MDs have stock in drug companies, or brackets, although many do, but because their reductionist philosophy demands that they treat people in this manner. It is not a philosophy, it is science and evidence that is continually being built upon, and that is proven to be effective. Something that you have not proven to do, Peter. Control of the body is another point to ponder regarding allopathic philosophy. It is rarely taken in such in blatant or naked terms, but it impacts 100% of allopathic treatment. The logic goes something like this. If somebody is sick, they are sick because their body lacks the ability to fight the problem on its own, which in many cases they do. And that's not me, by the way, not the book. And therefore, medicines which alter the natural workings of the body must be imported into the system to control the situation, or the offending tissue must be surgically removed. 9 out of 10, the medicines they are imported into the body treat the illness by an allopathic or synthetic. They are prescribed in a manner which overpowers the inherent biochemistry of the body, orchestrating a violent takeover of its physiology. So, for instance, if you have coitus, your coitus is removed. If you are depressed, if you have coitus, your colon is removed. If you are depressed, you are given synthetic drugs which artificially increase levels of serotonin in your blood, therefore making you feel better. Kind of, but not really, like tequila. If you're in pain, you are given synthetic medication which blocks the transmission of pain signals along nerve pathways, therefore making you feel better. Kind of, but not really like tequila. If you have menopausal symptoms, you are given synthetic estrogens or synthetic to try and push the biochemistry of your body in the direction that results in the elimination of your symptoms. Kind of, but not really like tequila. Also, the medicines used by allopaths are designed to opposite the illness. This is how medicines got their name in the first place. The antibiotic, the anti-inflammatory, the antidepressant, the anticoagulant, the antihistamines or antacids. Okay, that's the argument here he's trying to make is so ridiculous, right? this is why they got the names, because medicines are anti this. They're trying to take over your body. You can see what he's trying to do and the argument that he's trying to make. And this is so ridiculous, because again, if I were, if you're an, this is why I'm going to try and find, a doctor and an MD and read them this chapter, this specific chapter, just to see what they say, because oh my god, their reaction to it is going to be so much more comprehensive. Certainly one that I can give, but again, to say this and this argument is so ridiculous, and to say that these medicines are, he's trying to make a backdoor argument to say that these medicines don't work and that these medicines are bad for your body, when in fact, again, these medicines are proven to work. And this is just so ridiculous. And reading it out loud is even worse. It really is. Lastly, because these medicines are prescribed in an oppositional way to combat and oppose the disease, the effect of them on the body are often violent and full of side effects. Again, some medicines have side effects. So what? There are a lot of medications which don't have side effects. The side effects that you often see are purely on the side of bottles. About 80% of people do not have side effects. Does this guy mention this? No. That's why it's always side effects may include. Because you may get symptoms of these side effects. Does this guy mention this? No. Because his and let's just go back, because his side of medicine doesn't include side effects when they do include side effects. So don't act like you don't have side effects in your medicine, Pete, because I've gone through all the side effects that the Gerson therapy can have. For example, you mentioned coitus, where people have to have their colon removed. How many people have had to have their colon removed because they've gone and done the Gerson therapy, something which you have advocated for? Anyway, where were we? Not last of which is death, which a lot of your side effects include, Pete. Let's not beat around the bush. When you think about it, allopathic medicine is 100% congruent with the political philosophy of communism, which believes that people are not smart enough to be left to their own devices and therefore must be dominated and controlled. Oh my god, that is the most stupidest argument you could ever make. Coincidentally, the father of modern day China was, you guessed it, an MD. His name was Sun Yat-sen. Ouch. Synthetic drugs are the medicines of choice in the world of reductionist allopathy. Did you ever stop to consider why this is so? Many of the drugs that are used today come from plants, and we've already been through this. 99% is useless, and that 1% is useful. And what we have done is we've taken that thing, that 1%, and we've made it better. We've made it be able to better perform in a human body. Right? I can't remember what type of plant it is now, but 99% of 100% of all heart medications contain this 1% that we come from this one plant. Now, this plant, if you were to take it, would kill you, because it is poisonous. However, this 1% contains the, the thing that is 100% effective and necessary for all heart medication. Does this guy mention this? No! Oh. So why just not use the plant? And I've explained why. I mean, from an evolutionary point of view, plants and humans have coexisted for thousands of years. So why go to all the trouble and expense of analysing a plant's chemical constitutes and synthesizing a drug from one of them? Because we've just explained why, Pete. 99% of the medicines that come from plants, only 1% is what we need. The 99% we don't need. They're useless. The answer, oh, here we go, might surprise you. The reason that synthetic drugs and the mainstay of the allopathic boils down to two words: cha-ching. Okay, maybe these aren't real words, so here they are. Profit motive. It is illegal for anybody to hold a patient on naturally occurring substance, on a naturally occurring substance. You'll have to excuse me because my mouth is getting so dry from doing this. It's a combination of being so angry and pissed off. You couldn't go to Washington DC and secure a patent for water, calcium or garlic, because that would be stupid, right? This guy is about to show how little he knows about the patent system. Patents which guarantee that the patent holder has the exclusive production rights to whatever he patented. He can only guarantee and can only be granted for the things that are not naturally occurring. This is why drug companies go out of their way to create synthetic medicines. Again, let's just ignore the synthetic part and just call them what they are. They're medicines. Since synthetic medicines have never occurred before in nature, the drug company can secure a patent for it. And then they're the only ones that are allowed to produce it or to sell it. And yet, there aren't different types of painkillers. There aren't different types of things. You will notice when you actually go and look at a lot of these things, chemically they are very similar because a company has the exact patent on that exact formula. Now another company can come along and literally create a similar formula but be literally like 1% off, and all of a sudden they have the exact same thing to sell, drug to sell. That's what happens. And again, the drug companies have every single right to protect their intellectual license. To say that against the patent system is flat out false, because this guy Peter has endorsed people who patent devices that they're really allowed to sell, that they're making huge sums of money off. No one else is allowed to make these things. So why is Peter not going against them and saying saying similar? Because his argument that he's making here applies to people like David Wolf. So there you go. Where were we? Yeah. This, of course, dramatically increases the drug company's profits, and 60% of all those profits go back into R&D and research. For those of you who grew up in the 50s and 60s, can probably recall hearing the term patent medicine. Well, this is where it came from. Patenting a drug does create profits, massive profits. Statin drugs sales top $30 billion a year, and synthetic hormones like Paramin TM and Provera TM generate approximately $275 million a year. how many statins do people... Again, this is supply and demand, Peter. This is how our system works. I've done videos explaining how this works. This is why there is no widespread significant research done on vitamins or herbs. There are research done on vitamins and herbs, because herbs are plants, and is, you know, what we get. There is constant looking into these things. We look at things, and guess what? One paper recently, Peter, that came out said that all the vitamin supplements we take are pointless. Because if the body doesn't need that vitamin, it just gets rid of it. That's what your body naturally does. So, shouldn't you be making the argument, Peter, that we don't need to sell these vitamins for egregious prices, which you are making huge profits off? You know, the exact same argument you've just made against the drug companies now applies to you when you're selling your vitamins and minerals. There is no profit motive in that area. If someone found a mineral that cures breast cancer, anybody could make it. So why pour hundreds of millions of dollars into research and development for something that once discovered anybody could make and sell? Well, I highly doubt that, first of all, A mineral exists that cures breast cancer. So that's complete fantasy of Peter's. B, once the secret's out, other companies will look into this research and realise, well, hang on, we can make a similar product, we just have to make these changes. Again, drug companies do this. And again, be under no illusions that if this guy got what he wanted, that they wouldn't be doing the same thing. Be under no such illusions that they wouldn't be doing the same thing. From a humanitarian point of view, this of course is a good idea, but medicine in the industrialised nations of this world is not driven by humanitarianism, nor is it driven by results. That is absolutely 100% false. Medicine in the 21st century is driven by profits. If modern medicine was results driven, then MDs would have been out of work a long time ago. And so would you. Because your results prove nothing. MDs have huge mountains of evidence. There are papers upon papers written about the effectiveness of drugs and different types of medication, Peter. Oh, here we go again. The exclusion of the soul is one of the most startling aspects of allopathic medical thinking. Interestingly, it is the concept that is not even thought about by most allopaths, even though it is fundamental to their medical philosophy. Just go ahead and ask your MD what the relationship between the soul and the health of the body is, and see what you get for an answer. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what an idiot. Wow, oh wow, oh my god, just oh my god. The relationship between the soul and the body is completely discounted in allopathic medicine, because reductionism argues that if you can't measure something objectively, it doesn't exist. How can you measure this? And I suppose you can measure this human soul, this thing that we can't, prove exists. And oh my god, this guy goes around claiming that, already in this book. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so sorry for putting you through this pain. Oh my god! Oh, this is so bad. Since nobody has ever dissected out a human soul, nor has anybody mentioned it with some type of reliable instrumentation, therefore it does not exist. To the allopath, it is non-exist, then it can't impact the health of the human body, nor anything else. Of course, if the soul does exist, then it must have an intimate connection to the body's health. By discounting its possibilities, allopaths altogether. However, allopaths have effectively thrown the baby out of the bathwater. Yet, to add another layer of irony to the situation, even though many allopaths are deeply religious people, the concept of the soul's interference with the human body and its influence on health is completely left out of the reductionist medical model, and it is likely to believed in democratically when at home. It is like believing in democracy when at home, but practicing communism when at work. What are you talking about, Pete? Just, what are you talking about? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, literally. Because surgery and emergency care are epitomes of reductionism, breaking down the body into smaller pieces and then targeting them for treatments and treating the parts that are broken. The major advances in modern medicine in the last 100 years have all been in the surgical area, ignoring all the other advances, of course. And ironically, within the military field of medicine. However, in the same time span, few advances have been made in the treatment of most chronic diseases that affect most human beings most of the time. Things like heart disease, obesity, arthritis, asthma, kidney failure, migraines, anxiety, depression, hyperextension, cancer, diabetes, emphysema are all still around, still causing massive problems. But there are treatments, there are ways to deal with this, there are cures for some of the things he's talking about, such as cancer, and again, kidney failure. Again, he's ignoring things that are disprove his argument. And again, if you say that I'm wrong, then go and look up what the treatments are for these. Just go and look them up, because there are, again, this guy wants to think that, oh, it's just heart disease. Well, what type of heart disease? What are the effects? What are the symptoms? What are the causes? What is causing it? What can we do to help the treatment of this disease? You know, this guy has such a childlike view of these diseases, and he knows nothing. It's unbelievable. And again, it's right here in these pages if you don't believe me. No, I'm reading to them from you, black and white, in these pages. Oh. So actually, you know, fuck it. This video has been going on long enough. Basically, this guy goes on for two more pages bashing MDs and basically saying that they don't work and that it's your fault they're ill. And as you've just heard, you know, they discount the soul, which is, you know, somehow integral to medical treatment, which is a load of woo-woo. So yeah, next time we'll get on to his holism and what holism does for him, and, you know, the medical treatment, and why it's so much better than, you know, medicine.